Hello everyone, Pistana here, and I wanted to make this video. I quickly whipped up to address the matter regarding a certain issue revolving around a newly released gacha game, Neverness to Everness, which I will start abbreviating from this point on as NTE. I wanted to share with you guys my thoughts on stream, but I was stuttering like there's no tomorrow, so a scripted video is required to fully convey my thoughts. I don't often do these types of videos, but the opinions revolving around this matter was so stupid and performative that I have to spend half a day trying to put this together and point out the blatant bullshit that is taking place. And apparently, my viewpoint goes against what your general drama tuber says, so I think I'm doing it right. Now, to preface this, I don't like generative AI in general because it's pretty sloppy, unnatural, and is indeed a factor that contributes to real artists having their work stolen in an already saturated and competitive market. It, however, doesn't excuse the kind of bullying these anti-AIs are trying to force upon game devs who only want to make use of it to a certain degree. Since I don't think most of you here who are playing this game, or planning to play, actually care about whatever who the users think, like normal sane human beings, I'll bear the responsibility of explaining things. Hotza Studios are the developers behind NTE, and also Tower of Fantasy, surprisingly. Anyway, they got accused of making the whole game using AI, or just abusing AI to generate artwork, with proofs of AI-generated media used in the game, from billboards, cinema screenings, and even parts of a cutscene. Now, it would seem really bad in hindsight. A game that looks really promising, rivaling even some big names like Zenless Zone Zero in terms of UI design and gameplay, being outed as a cheap company who used AI to generate slop and post it in-game. But if you actually did some research on the topic, you would realize that the studio had been very vocal about their use of AI in the game, even before the launch of NTE itself. As you can see here, Shylily, the executive director from Hotza Studios, addressed the role of AI in atmospheric rendering and testing for trial and error. And the AI elements were used as placeholders for minor pieces of media, aka things that people don't generally care about in the first place. It might be a bit reaching for a segment that introduces a game mechanic, but minor aspect nonetheless. Right now, they're actively addressing the issue, promising to replace placeholder assets. So you kind of wonder, what is the actual issue behind this? The rest of the game was confirmed to be made by real humans, paired with the previous fact on how the AI media only served as placeholders, so I reiterate, what's the problem? We'll get back to that part in a minute. Adding to this, many are trying to paint the narrative of NTE developers outright lying about not actually using AI at all in the game, especially when this was used as a talking point to justify the fact that Ironmouse dropped the game sponsorship. This is a segment from her streaming discussing the issue.
And they had told my people
It
that there's
literally
no
has scenes
AI
from
in it.
Weathering with You on a big TV in the city
Yep.
with an AI filter over it. It's not even a, whoops, we forgot to take out the temp assets. It's theft, and they keep lying. Feel sorry for anyone that was involved without knowing about
It's
this
so
or having
crazy.
already signed contracts without being able to back out.
Bro, I would have never known until I didn't know until I saw that thing on Twitter after the stream. I guess like since I did it, I got pushed. Like a lot of stuff got pushed to me, and then people also added me with stuff. So I saw it and I'm like, what the fuck, bro? And they told my sponsor people. They told my sponsor people, they said no. They said we do not have AI in anything. There's no AI anywhere. And it's just like, why are you fucking lying, bro?
Defending a game company sounds like the most white knighting thing to do, but some of these people actually take Ironmouse's words for it. So far, she has only made a statement without anything to back up the claim. And we have evidence of the interview with NTE Devs regarding AI use, so this should be enough for you to weigh each side's credibility. There are also parts of the argument that don't hold up, like how some characters' art look as if they were AI generated, just like this picture over here. Looking at the girl's hand, it seems she has 6 fingers as a result of AI generation, when in reality, the idea has been debunked as bad rendering. Here's an animated version for you to visualize more easily. Other arguments about how some visual cutscenes in the game look off, but I cannot really find a proper assessment of whether or not there is AI involved in the process of making them. And of course, I'm not really experienced in animation, so I'll just ignore this part. Just want to mention it because it's also one of the talking points. Several critics try to paint the picture of the game being slop to their taste, since there's a certain level of AI involved, but people don't want to admit the fact that Some artists out there just didn't like putting tedious hours for their work to be glanced over by a major part of the audience. And that goes back to the point of certain parts of the game, right? Minor parts. Having AI art as placeholders. They also dismiss the work, with the reasoning being, if they use it on really minor parts of the game, we cannot trust them on major aspects without abusing AI. Basically, the slippery slope argument. But I want you to think about this for a second. Just because AI is used to a certain extent, doesn't mean it invalidates the blood, sweat, and tears being put into the rest of the game. And again, this is paired with the fact that Hada Studios have come out with an official statement, clarifying what the AI was used for and reassuring the player base of how its core aspects are still made by real artists, writers, and designers. The dismissal is just proof of how some people really disregard any fact to the matter, as long as it fits the AI was used checkbox. Coming back to the thing I mentioned a bit ago, about how some people were mad about the AI-generated media being used in the game, even though it only constitutes a small portion of minor, unimportant aspects. Here is another segment I found of another Vtuber addressing Shylily's remarks on NTE. I cut it down to quickly address the point, so you can check the original video in the description.
I didn't know Shylily's stance on this. Oh boy, but when I heard her stance on this, I was like, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt that she misspoke.
I am very close with artists.
She is very close with artists
We're
in there.
upset
She's
that
very
I
close.
am against something, or rather that I want to end my stream. I want to look into
And
it.
she was very disappointed with the discovered use of Gen AI in Neverness to Everness, and she expressed how she's close to artists, so this is very dear and near to her. This is what I find a little bit disjointed with her comment, though.
I
Difference
love
between
artists.
NPC AI and AI image generation. This shouldn't even be a debate, Shine.
Yeah, I think also people don't understand like what part of AI is the problem here.
What part of AI is the problem?
Like, yeah, you said just now, I have no problem with NPC generated AI dialogue and whatnot, whatever.
She has no problem with NPC generative AI dialogue for the NPCs or story.
You know, if it makes a good story, I think the problem people don't realize is
So she don't give a f that people lose their jobs to AI writing shit. She don't give a f about them. F them. F those people that lose their job. She only cares about the artists that do art. This is where I'm having a problem with this.
Shylily expressed the dissatisfaction after her discovery of generated AI being used in making art pieces since it affected her artist friends and their livelihood. However, she has no problem with NPC-generated AI, assuming this is in regards to AI replacing writers in making dialogues and forming interactions. Let me get this straight. AI is bad when it replaces the artist, but it's okay in your book if it's something else. Mind you, generative AI is also threatening the livelihood of voice actors, writers, and even game devs, as well as programmers, since AI can generate codes to be implemented, though we can already see how that turned out. This is where I have a specific issue with because 1. They want to chalk up the support for NTE being due to the inability to distinguish between Gen AI versus AI in general, since it justifies their point of the other side moving the goalpost. And 2. When it comes to Gen AI, people are only outraged by the one that affects creative artists or their favorite Oshis. Anything else, out of the books or not a problem. I have realized how toxic the art community is ever since the PewDiePie incident. So it comes as no surprise when any form of sabotage towards artists in general is frowned upon. Lots of them also think, because the big names are going against AI in this matter, like Shylily or Ironmouse, it means their words are more creditable than the rest. Hate to break it to you, but Ironmouse was expressing her interest in a game made by the company who is actively pushing for AI use, and even looking for candidates to fill AI-related positions right now. The outrage being made against the use of generative AI doesn't even include programmers and game developers either, so it looks super performative. Also, when you realize devs use those media pieces as placeholders, and they're in the process of fixing it. This is gonna be another win for the guys on the good side of history once again. Guys, we did it! We saved the freelancers from the demise! When in reality, the cry didn't matter, and the problematic elements were replaceable in the first place. And also the game is actively getting free publicity anyway. So, what's the conclusion regarding this matter? Even though it's true that generative AI is being used in the game, it doesn't get to the point that people portray it to look like. And they are doing whatever they can to drag the game through the mud. Despite not being so vocal at all when Amazon was introducing AI dubbing in their streaming services, the game is still being made by passionate devs, artists, writers, and designers who want the best for their games and their gamers. So ignore what the haters have to say and give NTE a chance, please. As a community, we should be more appreciative of the things we're getting, not virtue signaling and bandwagoning. Anyway, thank you for listening to my yapping. This is the very first video that I'm actively dipping my toes into a certain drama and actually doing research on it. So, if you want to see more of it, do let me know in the comments. And I'm also gonna play NTE in the future because I do not want to side with the haters. So, do check it out later. On another note, CP is coming to WoWA. I mean, why?